This is the regular meeting of the Compliance and Amendments Committee of the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force, called to order at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, August 20th, 2013. Ms. Osprey, would you call the first item on the agenda, please?
We'd like to call roll call.
Oh, yes, would you call the roll, please?
Okay, sure. Member Nee?
Here.
Nee present. Member Grant? Grant absent. And Chair Washburn.
Here.
You have a quorum?
Madam Chair.
Member Nee?
Yeah, I just think it's important to note that Member Grant's absence is due to, work-related assignments. She's not. She's not just, skipping school, so to speak. She's out for a very legitimate reason.
Do you want to make a motion to have her absent excused?
So move.
Okay. I second the motion. Is there any public comment on this motion? Seeing none, without objection. Ms. Osprey, do we have any changes to the agenda? Any parties not coming?
No, there are no other changes to the agenda. The notice did go out to all parties of the two complaints that are on the agenda. I have not heard back as to anyone saying they would not be in attendance.
Okay, thank you very much. Would you now call the next item on the agenda, please?
Item number 2, adoption of July 16, 2013 regular meeting minutes.
Madam Chair.
Member Nee?
Yeah, I move to approve.
I second that motion. I have just a couple of typos that I'll give to Ms. Osprey.
Madam Chair, I do have some comments and questions and suggested edits.
Okay.
That I think you have in your packet there. In item number 3, I'm suggesting that the word department be inserted after recreation and park, just for clarification's sake. So, there's also a recreation and park commission, I believe, so this specifies and clarifies that it is the department of the respondent. In the next paragraph down of that item, on line 1, 2, 4, 6, and I would ask for some clarification from Madam Clerk on this. The term where it says upholds the Recreation and Parks decision to redact documents provided to the complainant and not disclose others. When you say not disclose, does that mean withhold?
I'm trying to find.
Or what does that mean? This is
I see it. I find
page
it.
1 of the minutes, paragraph starting Dominique Bianchi,
Okay, I see it.
line 6 on there where it says not disclosed.
Oh, you're asking for explanation on not disclose others? Is that?
Yeah, what do we mean by not disclosed? Does that mean to withhold?
Yeah, to withhold. So I can.
Okay, I would suggest that word substitution, just to, again, I think it's for clarification's sake. Over on the next page, still in item 3, where it says for task force chair, or for chair, I think that should be clarified to read task force chair Grant, to draft a letter. In item number 4, general public comment, where Mr. Hartz referred to the chair of the EOTC, I think he was referring specifically to Chair Pilpel, not just to the chair, not just to the position of the chair. He was referring to Chair Pilpel. So I think Pilpel apostrophe S should be inserted between chair and ability. Also, for reasons of sentence structure and clarification, I would insert before the phrase "has a history," I would insert the words "says Chair Pilpel," and then before the word "concluding," I would add the word "unilaterally," because I think that was really the intent of Mr. Hartz's comment. And last but not least, one correction in item 6.
And rather than hand this to you, I'll just, I found some of the same problems that Member Nee did, and the other, just for clarity of page 1, item number 3, it's now going to read Olive Gong Recreation and Park Department respondent, and then put a comma there. Just insert a comma after respondent in the 4th line. Are there any public comments on the motion to approve the minutes? Okay, seeing none, Ms. Osprey, would you call the roll, please?
Member Nee
Aye.
and Chair Washburn, sorry.
Aye.
2 ayes.
Ms. Osprey, would you call the next item on the agenda, please?
Item number 3, file number 12056, hearing on the status of the order of termination of Alan Grossman against John St. Croix, Executive Director, Ethics Commission.
All right. Mr. Grossman, you have 5 minutes.
There really isn't much to say. I haven't heard a word from Mr. St. Croix or from anybody in his office. So, if I'm here to report whether there's been compliance or not, from my viewpoint, the answer is there's been no compliance.
Would you like to say anything else about the substance of the matter?
Pardon?
Would you like to, for the record, would you like to say anything else about the substance of the matter, what you were requesting and what you see the issues were?
I'm sorry, I thought that there was a prior knowledge of the case.
Oh, no, there is, but if you...
Okay, I can do that. This originated with my request last year for all the records relating to the adoption of a final set of sunshine regulations that were put on the Ethics Commission agenda shortly before the meeting without submitting them to the task force as they had done previously. And my interest was to find out why certain changes were made and whether there was an interaction not only among staff but with the commissioners and possibly the city attorney. There was a response of a lot of paper, probably 100 and some pages, but the critical ones were withheld, not identified, and they were simply withheld, claiming that they were exempt under one of 4 exemptions. And the task force heard this in an extensive hearing in June. There was no indication that what the records were that were withheld, how many were involved, and what particular group or individual records were tied to any specific exemption. And since the burden is on the respondent to not only cite the exemption, but to identify the document or the record to which it applies. I mean, that was the whole reason for a number of the provisions in the Sunshine Ordinance and in the Public Records Act. So the determination was that those unknown records were fully disclosable under Section 6121B and 6724(1), I believe. And that's what the order said.
I think it's 67.24B1 was.
Well, you're familiar with the section. It removes the exemption for any communications between a city agency or department and the city attorney's office.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone here to offer facts and evidence in support of the complainant? Okay, seeing none, the respondent has 5 minutes to respond.
Good afternoon. I'm Garrett Chatfield. I'm an investigator at the Ethics Commission. I'm here on behalf of Mr. St. Croix, who is unable to be here this afternoon. Mr. St. Croix contends that the task force erred in its interpretation of Section 6724B1 and that the attorney-client and attorney work product does apply to the withheld records. Thus, he did not release the records. And at this point, that's all the information I have for you.
All right. Is there anyone here to offer facts and evidence in support of the respondent? No.
I'm sorry. Well, my earphones, unfortunately, are not working.
Okay. Is there, Member Nee, do you have any questions?
Yes, Mr. Grossman, please. You mentioned during your presentation you brought up a 104 exemption, something like that?
Well, what I got in response to my records request was all of the paperwork connected with the 3 prior attempts by the Ethics Commission to adopt a set of regulations dealing with these sunshine cases.
Okay, the 104, did that refer to some kind of a section or provision, or did that refer to a volume of paper?
The number of pages, you mean?
Well,
It was actually on a CD, I think.
So the 104 refers to some kind of a provision or section? Is that what you're saying? I'm just trying to get a clarification here, that's all.
The 104,
Yeah, what did it represent?
I'm missing something, I'm sorry.
Well, you,
Say it slowly.
during your presentation, you said that there was some kind of a 104, 104 exemption, or you used it.
Oh, I know what I said. Mr. St. Croix submitted that the withheld documents were covered by 4 different exemptions.
104, yeah.
The attorney work product, which is 2, the attorney-client, and then there was a variation on the attorney-client.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
that's all right, thank you.
And I have a question. So it's my recollection, and based on what you said today, that they withheld many documents and they didn't specify what they were or which of these 4 exemptions applied. They didn't match the document to the exemptions.
Yeah.
So it's just, we have these documents, trust us, they fall under one of these 4 exemptions.
That's what they say, but until you know what they are, there's no way of knowing whether they even apply.
Exactly, right. And I'm just trying to remember what our deliberations were and our understanding. So that's what I recall. We also, we're looking at this as the regulations, the work done on the regulations. This was a joint effort by them and us, and having to do with sunshine, and so to have withheld that information seemed to fly directly in the face of the parts of the ordinance that we found them in violation of.
Right. Plus, if you recall, Mr. St. Croix said he hadn't reviewed the records in question. He didn't know how many there were, and he couldn't possibly identify which record and which privilege matched up. So I think what the task force did is that by process of elimination, they determined that these had to, since the exemptions that were submitted will all relate to the relationship between a lawyer and his client, then these records must be subject to 6724(1) sub whatever. And that's what I think the conclusion was.
Right, 24B1, right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
We're going to try to. I mean, the long and short of it is that the order was entered over 2 months ago. And there's no basis for not producing them because the time has come and gone even to assert the exemptions under both the Public Records Act and the Sunshine Ordinance. You got to do it in the first 10 days. And if it is just a buckshot series of exemptions, doesn't cut it.
Right. And so this order of determination was issued, and you've heard absolutely nothing from the Ethics Commission. They didn't send a letter repeating what they'd said before. Nothing at all to you.
Nothing.
Okay. Thank you. I'd like to speak with, I'm sorry, Mr. Chatfield?
Chapman.
Chatfield.
Chatfield.
Yes.
So your remarks were very brief. So do you understand why there was no response to the order of determination, not a letter, not anything at all? What were you told to say to us today?
Exactly what I just said to you. I was not involved with this records request. Mr. St. Croix was unable to come today. He's ill today. He called the office and asked me to come represent him so that there would be no violation, that no one came. And I have no other information apart from what was relayed to me. I apologize that I said I wasn't involved with this records request in any way.
Right, I understand. We have another provision in the ordinance about sending people to the meeting who understand the matter at hand. So it's nice that you came, but Mr. St. Croix is not covered because you can't tell us anything at all about what's transpired from the time that this order of determination was received and now. Right, you have nothing to tell us whatsoever.
I'm sorry that I can't be of further assistance to you, but I just don't have any information about the records request.
Okay. Member Nee, do you have any questions?
Just one. Do you know if there's anybody else within the ethics office who is familiar with this matter and who could?
Today, there was not.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, at this time, though, you do have an opportunity for a 3-minute rebuttal.
I'll waive that.
All right, I understand. And Mr. Grossman, you have time for a 3-minute rebuttal.
I'm not sure I understand what's going on, to be honest with you. But I think Mr. St. Croix is certainly experienced enough and knowledgeable enough about the rules involved with records requests to have either decided to comply or not to. And it seems to me that the door has been pretty well shut and the opportunity to get a better sense of what the purpose was.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the matters with our committee. Member Nee?
Madam Chair, I move to send this matter back to the full task force with a recommendation that the matter be referred to the Ethics Commission and to the Board of Supervisors. Reason I say the Ethics Commission is that Mr. St. Croix is an Ethics Commission employee, and there could be some reluctance on the part of the commissioners to deal in any kind of a confrontational manner with their executive director. At the same time, I think that the Ethics Commission does need to be made aware of this matter because the Ethics Commission, I think, ultimately does bear some responsibility in this. I'm also recommending that this matter, I would also like to recommend referral of this matter to the Board of Supervisors, kind of as that additional layer, if you will, of oversight.
Okay, I think I second that motion, and I have to say the full task force is not going to be at all happy with this. This was a unanimous decision. I mean, it brought everybody in our very diverse body on board. And we just see this lack of production of the records or explanation as to why they were withheld, failing to even respond in any way, shape, or form to the order of determination, even with a form letter saying we stand by what we did originally. We disagree. We've given you all that we're going to give you. Forget about the rest. Nothing at all. And not sending anyone here today who can help shed any light about what's going on. So, Member Nee?
Yeah, just a minor correction on the motion to find violations. There were two motions, and in both of them, members Pilpel and David did dissent. That's according to the order of determination. That being said, however,
I see it.
that does not take away from the force of law of the order of determination itself. Fact is, we did issue an order of determination. Fact also is, quite apparently, there has not been compliance with that order of determination. Therefore, I believe referral to the full task force and then on to the Ethics Commission and the Board of Supervisors is appropriate.
Okay. Yeah, I stand corrected. I was thinking about the case right after ours, about the unanimous decision. I also had a thought that we've been discussing about issuing press releases about some of our decisions, and we actually did get some press a day or so ago regarding our decision about the Library Commission case. So I think this is a perfect one to try to raise some public visibility. So we'll see where it goes when we refer it back to the task force. So is there any public comment on the motion to send this back to the full task force? Okay, seeing none, Ms. Osprey, would you call the roll, please?
Member Nee?
Yeah, aye.
Nee, aye, and Chair Washburn?
Aye.
You have 2 ayes.
Okay, we'll see you at the full task force either in September or October when it's calendared. Thank you. Ms. Osprey, would you call the next item on the agenda?
Item number 4, file number 12059, hearing on the status of the order of determination by Supreet Pabla of Local 1022 against the Human Services Agency.
All right, are the parties here? Ms. Pabla?
Hi, yeah, I'm Supreet Pabla. And I also brought with me one of my members. I don't know if if he's able to speak when I speak, or if he has to speak at public comment.
No, he can speak after you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
And it won't detract from your 5 minutes, 5 minutes, okay?
okay, so there was some new information that was sent on August 9th. I assume you have that document.
Okay, just give me a minute.
Okay.
Here.
I'm not seeing it. That doesn't mean it's not here, however. I'm just...
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, are you familiar with anything that came in on August 9th? And could you maybe point us to which page in the packet it might appear?
I cannot commit that to memory. I did not know. There's so many documents that come through. Can you look at there's a binder on the side and the page? Okay.
That would be perfect. Thank you.
That would be helpful, yes, thank you.
Yes. The clock's not ticking while we're
Okay.
trying to find our way here.
Thanks.
Okay, so this is additional information, and if you look at my request from September 26th, in terms of the numbers that the August 9th letter is answering, it's number 1 in regards to Elizabeth Harris, and number 2 in regards to parking, and also number 5 was in regards to parking, and number 3 for Arlene Hilton. So the response in their August 9th letter to number 2, I don't feel that that's sufficient to what I've asked. In the past, their answers to number 2 have been that they've already responded to this inquiry, or that they don't have a record. And it also with number 5, in my request on September 26th, and when I asked how many SEIU and how many MEA people parked at the garage, there still isn't an answer in either of their 3 responses from October, December, or August. And most importantly, on my September 26th letter, I have not received a response for number 4 in regards to how many days Debbie Jeter spent training outside of San Francisco in the past calendar year, as well as September 2011 to 12, and how much she spent for travel and lodging during this time frame. And in none of their responses do I receive that information, and that was part of what they were cited for when I came here in June. And then, let me just... So my number 6 response or question in September was Sophia Isom and instructing her staff to write their job description, and I haven't received an answer. I just have the department has no documents responsive to this request. And then also I refer to trips that social workers made in my number 7 request from September 26th, and I haven't received a response to that. And for number 8, my question was in regards to laptops and notebooks, iPads. Some of that information I have obtained through labor management, but I didn't obtain that information through this process. And I've obtained it in the last few months, but outside of this process. Maybe that's it.
Okay, so it looks like there was some compliance, but not complete.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, we may have more questions for you
Okay.
later. Is there anyone here to offer facts and evidence in support of Ms. Pablo?
Yeah. It seems to me that there are a number of requests made that would be obvious that the agency should keep track of that information. So the fact that they don't have documents to support the questioning is kind of stunning to me. The administration of HSA charges for parking for all employees that they provide parking for. So one would imagine that they have a list of the people who pay for parking. And that they don't have such a list is just, what do they do? Do they take the money and stick it in a box? I mean, it's not very clear. You would think that minimum accounting standards would require that they keep track of who is paying for parking and where they park. In terms of the number of days that a deputy director is out of the area and is being paid for transportation or lodging or anything else seems also to be a fairly straightforward request that somebody would keep track of. That they have no records about this just is staggering to me. And I think that's also in terms of electronic equipment, I think all upper level management have smartphones, that sort of thing. We just didn't. I think that the request was for where are all these devices and who has them, and it seems they come up a day late and $1 short on an explanation of where all this equipment is. If they're responsible for the equipment, one would think they know where it is. I think if I could shed light on the first couple questions 2 and 3, there are a number of positions being hired for wherein the normal civil service process didn't seem to be adhered to. So I mean, what the question here is, what was the process that was gone through in the hiring of Louise Rennie and Arlene Hilton? And again, the agency seems to be fairly unresponsive to that, and it seems like that would be expected that they would know what's going on. So that's about all I have to add to it.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else to offer facts and evidence in support of the complainant? You'll have another chance.
Okay, I just want to grab all this.
All right, is the respondent present? And you two will have 5 minutes.
Good afternoon. Sorry, Chair Washburn and Vice Chair Nee. My name is Luana Kim, and I've been asked to attend on behalf of the agency. Unfortunately, our designated public records officer is ill today and unable to attend. Therefore, I'm here on her behalf. So I'm not the subject matter expert, but I have reviewed the materials, and I will do my best to answer whatever questions that you might have. So I'd like to start by stating that the agency is committed to complying with all the requirements of the Public Records Act and the Sunshine Ordinance. It was not and is not our intention to violate any of the ordinances or the laws or to withhold any information from the public. We provided all the information that we had, and so we did not withhold any information. So I think you have before you some of the information, but just to give you a very brief overview on the background. So as Ms. Pablo had said, on September 26th, we received an information request from SEIU Local 1021. We responded on October the 12th. We received notification that that was not sufficient information or that we did not comply with the request, so we submitted an updated response on December the 17th. And then there were a number of emails or correspondence between December 17th and the 29th between the task force, members of the task force, the agency, and SEIU around the response. And then on May 13th, it appeared that the agency was notified that there were no additional complaints that were filed by Ms. Pablo or the union. But then on June 24th, there was an order of determination that was issued. So in response, as Ms. Pablo had stated, on August the 9th, the agency provided an additional response in response to the order of determination. So as I had stated earlier, the agency provided the information that was based on the request, and I can go over the items of the request if that's helpful. And so if the information wasn't sufficient, again, we are committed to complying. So if there's information that was not provided, that should have been provided, we absolutely will do that. And one thing that we ask for is a 30-day stay of any order determination so that we have an opportunity to sit down with the union and go by line and go through whatever information that they're requesting that they are entitled to. We will absolutely comply with whatever the rules and the orders are regarding providing information. So I know that I have 5 minutes. I will go briefly through. So I believe Ms. Pablo indicated that there were responses to numbers 1, 2, 5, and 3, so I'll focus on the areas where she had indicated. In terms of the information number 2 regarding Louise Rennie's position, we provided what information that we had regarding her hire, and so we don't have any other documents related to that. On number 4, regarding the parking, we do have a list of, although we have a list of people who park, sorry, I'm skipping, I apologize. There was a question regarding the training. The agency does not have any documents regarding any training that former FCS, Family and Children's Services Deputy Director, attended training. She did not attend any training, so we have no documentation that's responsive to that request. Number 5, regarding parking, the question was how many people in the garage are from MEA and how many people are from SEIU. The request was for information based on union, and we do not have data. We do not keep information by union, so that information is not available. I think there was some questions regarding number 6 and number 7. We provided, meaning Ms. Isom instructing her staff to write their own job descriptions, and social workers traveling outside of the county. We provided whatever information that we had. If there's any clarifying information that the union seeks, if there's any information perhaps the union would like to restate their question or ask in a different way, we're more than happy to sit down with them and comply with whatever records or information that we have. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to offer facts and evidence in support of the respondent? Okay. Member Nee, do you have questions for either party?
No, I have none, thank you.
Okay. The respondent now has 3 minutes to offer a rebuttal. Just if you have anything else you would like to say. No, not the complainant, the respondent. No. Okay. The complainant, you have 3 minutes to rebut anything that the respondent said earlier.
Okay, so if you look on my September 26th number 4 request in terms of Debbie Jeter, I know that there are members that went along with Debbie Jeter to these trainings, and I have a member here that can can speak to that. So as far as the agency's response saying that they have no information, that might be true. They might not have information about it, but that shows that they're lacking in record keeping. For number 5, Ms. Kim had indicated that she doesn't have information by union, and I think that what we're asking for could have, I do think that the agency has that information. They might not have it by union in their system, but I do think that they can tell us who in the garage is from MEA and how many people are from SEIU. And then I also wanted to point out that the letter dated the 24th, the order of determination, at the very bottom, last sentence, it says HSA shall release records requested within 5 business days, and that was on June 24th, and the partial response that we did receive was on August 9th, so again, it was very late and not responsive to all of the information that was requested.
All right, thank you. Okay, I'm hearing a number of things. From the respondent, I'm hearing that there may be some additional information that's responsive to these requests, and they would appreciate an opportunity to meet with the union to make sure that they understand what's being requested. I'm also hearing, and there's a provision in the Sunshine Ordinance regarding correspondence and records that shall be maintained, and the idea that city agencies and departments are supposed to maintain records in a professional manner. So when we heard this case originally, and then rereading some of the materials and hearing what's being said today, I'm mystified as to why certain information isn't readily available. And having sat on this task force for about 5 years now, I hear over and over from various city departments about records that just haven't been created or have been lost. And so to me, it's plausible that certain records may not be there, but they ought to be. And it's a violation of the ordinance not to maintain records of the city's business, the people's business, in a professional way, so that when they're requested, they're there. So this is me just sharing my reflections here based on what I've heard. Member Nee, do you have anything to add?
I will when I make my motion.
Okay. Would you like to do that right now? For your motion?
If the chair so wills. Yes, I would like to move to send this matter back to the full task force with a recommendation for referral to the Ethics Commission. Not only has there been lack of compliance with the order of determination, but the additional information that was provided to the complainant in response to this entire matter came on August 9th, well after the deadline for compliance with the order of determination.
And I second that motion. And now's the time for public comment, but I don't think we have any public to comment on this. So, Ms. Osprey, would you call the roll on this item?
Member Nee?
Aye.
Nee, aye. And Chair Washburn?
Aye.
Aye. You have 2 ayes.
Now, the fact that this is going back to the full task force doesn't mean that the parties can't continue to work on trying to get this information. So I would urge you to do that. And I'm naive to the particular items requested, but they sort of make sense in a common sense sort of way about what you're asking for. So I would think that you ought to be able to reach some understanding and get the information that's there. So we would appreciate those efforts, but we will see this matter back at the full task force. Ms. Osprey, would you call the next item on the agenda?
But no, item number 5, public comment.
Everybody's a member of the public now for this. This is general public comment on items not on the agenda. So this is new stuff.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
actually, maybe this is catching up on the old stuff. I never gave my name for the record,
Okay.
and thought I should. My name is Dan Phillips.
Phillips.
Phillips, Phillips.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, seeing no other public comment, Ms. Osprey, would you call the next item on the agenda, please?
Public comment is closed. Item number 6, administrator's report. The other administrator's report before you is just one item currently pending before CAC that's been referred from the task force. Do you have?
Oh, it's in the back
okay,
here.
right.
Oh, no, it doesn't work.
You don't have it?
Oh, I have it.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay, sure. All right. And there's no public to comment on the administrator's report. Ms. Osprey, would you call the next item on the agenda?
Item number 7, announcements, comments, questions, future agenda items.
Member Nee?
Yes, just to repeat what I said earlier, I will not be at the next meeting of this committee because I will be traveling.
To France.
Correct.
All right. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I just had just a comment regarding the agenda. Just wanted to make note that on public comment, since it is worded that public comment shall be taken 1 hour after the meeting convenes, I don't know if you want to change that in the future, seeing that CAC now usually adjourns less than an hour. I know it was an issue before with one of the members of the public who came a little bit after 5 and the meeting had adjourned.
Oh, okay. So maybe we should have it
Well,
first off.
what we could say is that public comment shall be taken,
No later than 1 hour?
that works. As at the end or after the substantive business of the task force is complete, or 1 hour after the start of the task force meeting, whichever comes first.
Okay.
Just for clarity, for members of the public who may not know what substantive items are before the committee or know what that is, do you maybe want to clarify that maybe after the last hearing item you would have public comment, something to that effect? Just a suggestion.
Not necessarily, because there may be, I mean, for instance, meeting minutes are not hearing, not part of a hearing. They are substantive, but they're not a hearing. And then there may also be things like procedural matters that we want to handle, that sort of thing. So, what we could say is substantive and other procedural matters. It's a suggestion. But, we could also send you like a kind of a little draft statement that we could work on.
Yeah, let's give this some thought.
It's just a suggestion. I know with the board, with other committees that there isn't a time, but with board, they say after, they have a time or after a certain item. So I was just suggesting, like, for instance, after the last hearing item, which would have been 12056, to have public comment after that, or some wording that public comment shall be heard after the last complaint hearing. So they know, I mean, it's up to you, but we can definitely work on it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah, thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Without objection.